Hey, Richest Few Money Maniacs, welcome back. In this video, we're going to talk about how you can never, ever have to need government stimulus money ever again. Wouldn't that be amazing? Let's get right to it. Hey, Richest Few Money Maniacs, welcome back. I'm Tom. Thanks for tuning in today. In this video, I want to discuss a completely mind-blowing concept. Imagine having your finances so well mastered that you never ever have to rely on government subsidies or stimulus packages or special packages or special favors, nothing ever again. Wouldn't that be wonderful? Basically to have money coming into you in a residual stream that's, oh, by the way, tax-free legally, that you can have for the rest of your life, and it never stops coming in. And actually, once you set it up, you never have to do anything to keep it going. It just runs on its own. Wouldn't that be wonderful? No, I'm not talking about network marketing or MLMs, although those are some really exciting businesses to get into. And no, I'm not talking about rental properties or real estate. I am talking about one of my favorite topics, laser funds. So if you haven't been watching the channel already and you don't know what a laser fund is, imagine an insurance policy that you can use while you're alive. Yeah, so it's an insurance policy that you don't have to die to get any benefit from. You actually get benefit from it while you're alive. So before we get into that, the reason that I'm making this video is because there's such a huge focus on wealth disparity in the nation right now. And the really interesting thing to me is that it's not necessary. The wealth disparity is simply a matter of education, of being able to understand how money works and how to leverage the IRS code, to leverage insurance pieces, to leverage maybe even starting or buying your own business, the QLA method with Dan Pena. There's no excuse anymore for folks to be broke. I mean, it's one thing to be broke. I should rephrase that. There's no excuse anymore for people to have a poor mentality, especially because public libraries give you access to all the information you could ever need to be able to master your finances, even on $10 a month. If you were to start right now and start working towards saving and investing $10 a month, you could build up enough and then slowly build your education and leverage that $10, or even better, leverage other people's monies and other people's investments to make yourself money by bringing them value. Maybe you become a connector of people. Maybe you build deals and get a small percentage off of it. Everything you need to know is in a public library. Oh, and by the way, libraries have internet access that's free. So there's no excuse anymore. But what I'm talking about right now is a lot of folks are also under lockdown. They've been locked down for whatever particular reason. We're not allowed to say things on internet and on YouTube anymore without raising red flags and being censored, because the United States of America does not allow free speech anymore. So I have to refrain from saying exactly why everyone has been locked down. But the fact of the matter is, a lot of folks see that as an excuse to not do anything about their situation. So they wait on government money to come to them and rescue them. You've ordered me to stay home, so you have to pay for my living. You have to pay my bills. Guess what? You are the government. The government doesn't create wealth. It doesn't create anything. All government does is take from its citizens and redistribute. So that's a whole nother video. I won't get too far into that, but just understand that whenever you talk about sitting around and waiting for someone from the government to send you a stimulus package, you're talking about taking money from your own pocket. And it may not feel like it's coming out of it right now, but you can be sure all the different taxes that are going to come later on, not too far away, as a matter of fact, will definitely be coming out of your pockets. So I'm talking about setting yourself up so that you never ever have to rely on anyone else for money to be able to pay your bills and take care of your family and keep yourself safe. Even if that means moving to a different area. Some people need to move out of certain areas right now because they're so crime-ridden. There's so much rioting and looting, and there's so much violence and gang violence. But the fact of the matter is, a lot of folks can't afford to just pick up their family, their whole family and extended family, because sometimes people won't move without their extended family, and afford to move them to a different place in the country. They have to financially bear the burden of staying there and hoping that things get better. That is no way to live your life. That is not thriving. That is subsisting. That is just existing below the level of what you're really here for. I firmly believe that everyone is here to experience the wealth and abundance that life has to offer to everyone. So that's why I'm happy to share this information with you. Every video that I do, I'm excited to share the information that I've learned and applied in my own life. And the really cool thing is that it didn't come from me. It came from people like Dan Pena, Robert Kiyosaki, Doug Andrew, Tom Wheelwright, all these amazing individuals who have made success for themselves, have proven that their way of thinking, their way of doing things and mastering money has worked. So, how do you build so that you never ever have to deal or wait for stimulus money again? Laser funds are my favorite tool. Now, I also mentioned network marketing and MLMs. Those are businesses and those involve taxes. They also involve working really, really hard to be able to reach out to folks and get them to join in with you. But it's like any business. However, they are great opportunities to build residual income if you're smart about it. A laser fund, the wonderful thing about it is you don't have to be smart. You just have to be consistent and make the payments that you need to make each month. Now, some people say, well, I can't afford to make payments. Guess what? You can make payments each month as low as $100 to $250 per month and be building a laser fund. So while it used to be called the rich man's Roth, it actually works for anyone at any level. Now, here's the only caveat. The caveat is that if you have good health, you get a better deal on your laser fund. Because remember, we're talking about a life insurance policy. This is not an investment tool, and you don't want it to be an investment tool because then all the investment tax laws apply to it. Because it's an insurance piece and will stay an insurance piece, you can work inside a laser fund tax-free. Yes, really, tax-free in perpetuity for the rest of your life. Now, a laser fund is typically called also a tax advantage insurance contract. The ones I'm speaking of specifically are indexed universal life insurance policies. Now, what that means is your life insurance policy is a universal life insurance policy that is indexed or marked against, tagged to the market and how the market moves. Oh, well, now wait a minute. I thought I didn't want to be in the market because the market is manipulated. Yes, it's absolutely manipulated. Do not go into the market right now, especially. However, if you're indexed against it with an IUL or an indexed universal life insurance policy, you're not actually in the market. So if the market goes down, guess what your percentage or interest of earnings for that year is through your IUL? Zero. You don't lose any of your principal. See, when you go into an IRA and you put your money in an IRA, the value of the stocks that you have in that IRA go down when the market goes down. So you lose currency, right? You lose value because the stocks lose value. So your IRA, if you were to cash it out, is worth less. Well, the IUL, Indexed Universal Life Insurance Policy, never goes down. It just stays at the principal that you have in it. So if you have $100,000 in it and the market goes down one year, guess what? The next year you still have $100,000. In fact, even better, when it goes back up, you know that the market's going to correct, right? So you can use multipliers to not just make the percentage that the market goes up, but you can actually multiply the percentage the market goes up. So if the market goes up 5%, if you use a multiplier of 3, you would make 15% on your laser fund. Okay, so right now you're going, whoa, there's no way that can possibly be true. There's no way that that can be even a real thing. Look it up. Go to Doug Andrews' YouTube site called 3-Dimensional Wealth. Watch his videos. He explains it in detail. In fact, watch the Richest You videos. It explains it in detail, exactly what the IRS codes are that make it work. In fact, look up indexed universal life insurance policies and find out for yourself how amazing these tools are. Here's the thing though. I started this video talking about how to never need stimulus ever again, right? So if you have an indexed universal life insurance policy or a laser fund, when a hard time comes around like this and you're locked down, guess what you can do? You can borrow against your insurance policy. Now, when you borrow against it, you don't use any of the principal. It's a loan against it as collateral. And guess what? The interest on that loan is less than the interest you're earning each year average on your principal. But that's not all. The interest that you pay on that loan, if you pay it, is actually tax deductible. But oh, by the way, if you decide you don't want to pay that loan back, you don't ever have to pay it back. Well, how can you take a loan out and not pay it back? Well, it's really easy. When you take out a loan against your insurance policy as collateral, you never have to pay it back, because when you do finally pass away, the first thing your death benefit pays are any outstanding loans. Yes. So if you're struggling because the government says you can't go to work or your business has to be closed, you can borrow against your laser fund and never have to pay it back. And you can keep paying your bills, meeting your payroll, keeping the lights on, keeping your store or your business open, or just keeping the lights on in your home, or paying your mortgage. So anybody can start one for really, really cheap, almost less than what it costs to do a regular insurance piece, except that with a regular insurance piece, you don't get all these additional benefits that you get with a laser fund. Now that's just one way. Now remember something too, when you take this loan out against the laser fund, that's tax-free cash. You're not paying taxes or fines or fees on taking money out of your laser fund. It's your insurance policy. The government doesn't mind that you're borrowing your own money against your own insurance. So here's the really nice thing about a laser fund. Technically what you're doing is you're insuring yourself. Instead of asking an insurance company to insure you, you're paying maximum contributions to insure yourself with a minimum death benefit. You don't want that much of a death benefit when you die. And here's why. Because you don't want to use this when you die. You don't get to use it. You want to use it while you're alive to enjoy all the tax-free benefits. The tax-free interest earned, which happens to be about 8 to 10% average per year. And that, now remember, 8 to 10% average for a laser fund compared to the market where you're supposed to be happy with 4% over 30 years, hopefully, right? So I think 8 to 10% with no downside is way better to go, especially because it's going to be tax-free. See, with IRAs, you're deferring the taxes, or a lot of investments, you're deferring the taxes, which means, of course, down the road, the taxes will be higher. So when you actually do take the money out, you get less. With the laser fund, you're paying the taxes right away before you put it in the laser fund, and then it's in that laser fund tax-free for the rest of your life. It rolls over to your beneficiary tax-free. They can start another laser fund tax-free, and they can live off the interest tax-free also. So why wait around for stimulus money from people who know nothing about you and are just basically stealing that money from you and your children and your friends and your neighbors through taxes and inflation? Why not build a laser fund for yourself and be in control of your finances and take control of your life? That would be my suggestion. So I hope that this video made it clear why sitting around waiting for the government to give you a handout is a really bad idea. It's in a whole bunch of different ways that I won't go into right now. And that a laser fund is just one of many tools, one that's easy. It's super easy to set up. It's super easy with the right manager to make money with. And all you have to do is make your consistent monthly payments, and they can be low. They can be affordable to get you started. I have to share this with you too. It's a very personal experience. The feeling that I got once I established my laser fund the first year was of profound peace and confidence. I know that my finance and my financial future and my family's financial future is and always will be set and protected forever, simply because I took the time to learn this one piece of information and acted on it. You know what? The government wants to send money out to everybody. Fine, send it out. I'm going to be putting it into a laser fund. That's what I'll be doing. So I hope you found this helpful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, I'd love for you to subscribe to the channel. And even better, if you have comments or questions, put them in down. Write them down below. I love having conversations with viewers. And if anybody wants more information about some of the guys I mentioned, definitely make it a comment, and I will point you in the right direction of where I learned all this information too. Thanks everybody, and I'll see you next time.